Hello there, peeps. How do you do? I hope you're very well and that, just like me, got a bit of time for a speedy read. Is that the case? Glad to hear it. Let's begin. So today's book's called The Curious Garden and it's by a person called Peter Brown. Without further ado, let's get begun. There once was a city without gardens or trees or greenery of any kind. Most people spent their time indoors. As you can imagine, it was a very dreary place. However, there was one boy who loved being outside. Even on drizzly days, while everyone else stayed inside, you could always find Liam happily splashing through his neighbourhood. It was on one such morning that Liam made several surprising discoveries. He was wandering around the old railway, as he did from time to time, when he stumbled upon a dark stairwell leading up to the tracks. The railway had stopped working ages ago, and since Liam had always wanted to explore the tracks, there was only one thing for the curious boy to do. Liam ran up the stairs, pushed open the door and stepped out onto the railway. The first thing he saw was a lonely patch of colour. Wildflowers and plants were the last things he had expected to find up there, but when he took a closer look, it became clear that the plants were dying. They needed a gardener. Do you think he could help? Let's see. Liam may not have been a gardener, but he knew that he could help, so he returned to the railway the very next day and got to work. The flowers nearly drowned, and he had a few pruning problems, but the plants patiently waited while Liam found better ways of gardening. As the weeks rolled by, Liam began to feel like a real gardener, and the plants began to feel like a real garden. Look, it's growing, isn't it? From that to that to that to that. Most gardens stay in one place, but this was no ordinary garden. With miles of open railway ahead of it, the garden was growing restless. It wanted to explore. The tough little weeds and mosses were the first to move. They popped up farther and farther down the tracks and were closely followed by the more delicate plants. Over the next few months, Liam and the curious garden explored every corner of the railway. Look at it go. Wow! The whole, even the tracks, look at that. The whole railway's covered in lovely flowers. We've got butterflies flying around. Looking good. Oh, and look, it's continuing along, isn't it? You've still got the city all around it, but this beautiful garden is growing up on the old railway. After spending his spring and summer and autumn with the garden, Liam's time on the railway was finally interrupted by winter. Heavy blankets of snow fell on the city that season, and for the first time since he'd become a gardener, Liam could not visit the plants. There he is, with his sledge, looking on. Rather than waste his winter worrying about the garden, Liam spent it preparing for spring. After 3 cold months, the snow finally began to melt, and Liam rolled his new gardening gear over to the railway. Ooh, look! What's he got here? A watering can, a rake, a spade, some other bits and bobs. Let's see what he gets up to. Winter had taken a toll on the garden. But, thanks to Liam's planning, his handy new tools, and a little help from the sun, the plants soon awoke from their winter's sleep. Look! They're coming back. They're all yellow and looking a bit poorly there, but then they get greener and greener. I think he's having a sing-song with the birds too. The garden had always wanted to explore the rest of the city, and that spring it was finally ready to make its move. Once again, the tough little weeds and mosses set out first. They popped up farther and farther from the railway and were closely followed by the more delicate plants. Look, they're growing downwards over the sides onto this building here. The garden was especially curious about old, forgotten things. Look, there's an old van there. It's creeping into the old van. And look, it's coming up through the pavement, through the building. Fantastic. A few plants popped up where they didn't belong. You know what that is? That's a stop sign. The people who drive cars, they need to be able to see. And they've covered up a fire hydrant there, so I think our little hero, he's got to sort them out. Others mysteriously popped up all at once. Whoa, look at that! He's opened the door and, excuse me, found a nice flower pot full of flowers. And there's our little hero undercover, emptying a wheelbarrow of garden out. But the most surprising things that popped up were the new gardeners. Yeah, look. We've got all these girls and boys with knapsacks and watering cans, and everyone's helping to tend to these gardens. Look, we've got a scarecrow on top of the building, a tractor on top of that one. That is fantastic, isn't it? Look, he's walking down the stairs covered in grass with no shoes on, and that is one of my favourite things. Taking off my shoes, walking on the grass or in the woods. And look, he's having a nice picnic. Picnic on the grass. Oh, look, giant lily pads. And that is very impressive topiary. Look, he's cut bushes into the shape of a giraffe, maybe a moose, maybe an elephant. And look, people's houses are appearing in trees. That's amazing. What a beautiful picture. Many years later, the entire city had blossomed. But of all the new gardeners, Liam's favourite... Sorry, I'm going to say that again. Many years later, the entire city had blossomed, but of all the new gardens, Liam's favourite was where it all began. And look, up there on the railway. That is lovely. And look, there's the city transformed. You remember how it was before? Let's have a look, because before it was like that. Very brown and boring and well, yeah, they call it dreary, don't they? But now, look at it. That is fantastic. We've got windmills, trees, hammocks, as many flowers as you could possibly smell. That is nice. Oh, what a good book. Did you enjoy that book? I really did. I thought that was lovely. I'd like to see a garden like that as well. Yeah, but not today because I've got other commitments that I have to get on with. So, you enjoy it and have a good one. We'll see you soon. Alright, bye.